And with this, he kind of becomes more and more knowledgeable. So what are the main principles, or what are the things that make up Confucianism? So we see that there's rights, rulers, ritual, decorum, which is what would bind society together. I'll get more into this in a little bit. And that was the Ren, which is humanness, benevolence, and humility. Humanity, excuse me. Shu, which is reciprocity and empathy, feeling like being able to sympathize, empathize, feel like that what that person's feeling. And then it's do not do unto others what you would not want done unto you. Wow, isn't that like a double negative? But you want to do things, you don't want to do things that you wouldn't want someone to do to you. We, of course, in kind of more modern times, say the line like, do unto others what you'd want done to you. It's a little easier to say that way, if you ask me, but that's not what Confucius said. And you have righteousness. Righteousness is that feeling of like I've got this, and like you can do no wrong kind of a feeling. And filial piety, which is respecting your elders. And I will give you a hint right now. Filial piety is going to be one of the important words for your document-based question, your DBQ that you're going to be doing with this. So we will look at this again. But respecting your elders, particularly parents, grandparents, and community leaders. So this is when it gets kind of crazy too. We get 5 principles of relationships. So 5 people and their relationships with others. Take note as you're hearing this on who's almost always in charge and who's always subservient, the second person in charge. So we see here that you have the ruler and the subject, so the king and their people, even though in this time it's an emperor, right? It's an emperor's China. So it's an emperor and his subjects, his people. You have a father who's subservient to the father, the son. Of course, now you've already maybe picked up something here. They are very gender specific at this time. Notice it's not mother and daughter, it's father and son. Let me continue on. Husband, who's going to be under Chinese law, under Confucianism, who's going to be below, a husband would be the wife, an older brother compared to a younger brother. Right? So if you are the younger brother, you look up to your older brother, and if you are the older brother, you help, and these are helping, they are give and take relationships. They are not just one person who gets to control the other. It's that the son has to answer to the father, but the father has to help and respect their son. So it's not like a one-way thing, but the respect goes from the son has to respect the father, and the father has to help the child, the son. And then older friend, younger friend. This is where it gets a little confusing, because then you're just sheerly basing this solely on like a very minuscule age. And as I pointed out, there's some gender issues here. You don't see anything really about females, with the exception of the fact that she would be kind of under her husband. So that's something to think about. Organizing principles, which would be the status of what's going on, the age of the person. So like we said, like older friend, younger friend, older brother, younger brother, and then the gender. As we pointed out, we're seeing mostly male-centered history here in China. Here is Confucian's temple complex. Very pretty. Give you a second there to look at it. And this is the book. This is the book that is really important for the Confucius principles. And that's all I wanted to say about that. This here just is a neat stone that you can kind of see on the stone. Here. Look, I can use my mouse. You can see the stone here, and it's carved with the story of Confucius's life. Here's his tomb. And our next one that we're going to look at today is legalism. As I pointed out to you, these are also going to be aligned with your documents for your DBQ, and this will take you on to documents 4, 5, and that's it, 4 and 5. Han Fei is the founder and leader of the legalism belief system. And let's see. Again, we're not exactly sure on dates here. So around circa is the historical word here. Around 280 to 333 BCE, before Common Era. And we see kind of a vision here. And he lived during the late warring states periods, which is under the Zhou dynasty, which takes place between 1027 to 256 BCE. We will kind of discuss that a little more in depth later on. And it became the political philosophy of the Qin dynasty, or the Qin. And what are the beliefs here? So we see that humans are naturally selfish. I'm going to want what I need. You're going to want what you need. And under legalism, your education is going to be discouraged. So you are not going to be like intellectually or like stimulated, which is quite the difference between some of the other belief system we see here in China. But then we see this is that number 3 is that the law is supreme, and that we kind of like the law is going to tell us right from wrong. We don't have to decide whether there's right from wrong. Very strict, very strong government leadership here. Oh, I did 2 at a time. The ruler must rule with a strong and punishing hand. Again, that very strong law. And war means war is the means of strength. Okay, so that's what's going to make a ruler really strong, is to have a strong power. I'm going to kind of move along here because we're getting close to the end of the wire. So it's an authoritarian regime, meaning that the power is coming from the strong government. So the one who favors the principles that individuals should obey the authority rather than exercise individual freedoms. And the ruler, therefore, cracks his whip on the backs of his subjects. So, that strong leader is going to really enforce the rules. All right, and our last one is Taoism, and this is going to take us through documents 6, 7, and 8 in our DBQ. And some of this you should recognize from your own lives, actually. Some symbols here. So Lao Zhao, or Lao Zaos, is the ruler, or the founder of this belief system. Again, when you're looking at dates this far, it's hard to get some real answers. So we're not sure exactly when he died, but we're going to go with, he was born around 604 BCE, unknown death date. His name means the old master. He's oftentimes depicted riding kind of a bull. And he believed that the people needed to go with the flow, let nature take its course. Things are going to happen the way it's going to happen, and there's not much we can do about it. It's kind of true. So the Tao Te Ching is the basic text of Taoism. In Chinese, it means the classics and the way, its power. And then here we have a little saying here: for those who speak know nothing, Those who know are silent. These words, I'm told, were spoken by Lao Tzu. If we were to believe, Tzu himself was one who knew, and how this is how he wrote, these crazy books. But anyway, I digress. Okay, moving on. So what's going on here? The Tao, or the Tao, is the first thing that pushes the universe. So, like, how did we start? The Tao is how we started. This is what forces everything through our lives. This is what gives us life, is the Tao. A believer in goals becomes one with the Tao. So if you know yourself, you are one with nature. You are one with yourself. You are one with the Tao. That's center. And then we kind of see, let the nature take its course. The art is the art of doing nothing, and the go with the flow. Kind of like letting things happen the way they happen. And man is unhappy because of his actions. That man-made laws, customs, traditions are contrary to the laws of nature, so that's stifling our Tao, and if we're following that, then we're not centered with the Tao, and we're unhappy because we don't live right. The Tao is a way to escape the social, political, and cultural traps of life, and we escape these by rejecting formal knowledge and learning. No, that doesn't mean you guys don't have to continue and do a DBQ. Relying on the senses instead of instinct, or relying on the senses and the instinct, and discovering the nature and the rhythm of the universe, and encouraging political and social laws. The universal opposites, which is finding balance, this is the thing I thought you guys would know. This is the yin and yin-yang, which is showing us the yin and the yang. Again, you are going to see this again on your DBQ, so get excited. So the yin is the feminism, pacifism, darkness, cold, weak, earth, and moon. And then on the yang side, you have the masculine side, the active, the light, the warmth, strong, heaven and sun. And that in our worlds, we need to find the balance between these two. There is not, life is not completely black and white. We have to find the balance of these two. So we need to create gray areas for ourselves. So belief in Taoism, it's wrong for people to fight. It's wrong for government to make rules and laws. You can see how this would go against legalism. They're against any kind of rules and diets. They had theories regarding the body, diets, breathing, physical exercising, the use of herbs, philosophies, philosophical inquiries, and meditation. And Taoists feel that these ideas bring humans closer to being aligned with that natural order and life of the living things. Again, that Tao, trying to get closer to the Tao. And so what I'd like you guys to do right now is tell me what you think, of these three philosophies: Taoism, and Taoism, Confucianism, and legalism. Which one do you think you